In this video, I'm going to describe several steps necessary to properly hoop a garment for embroidery. The elements involved in this process are the hoop, which is in two pieces, the inside ring, which is the larger of the two pieces that has the attaching arms that go into the arms on the machine, and the outside ring, or the tension ring. The reason it's called a tension ring is because it has a knob that allows you to increase or decrease the amount of tension that this ring places on the inner ring and the fabric. The thicker the material, the wider you open the ring. The thinner material, the closer or the tighter you make the ring. If the ring is too tight, then it can do what we call hoop burn the garment, which will leave a permanent ring on the garment after you take it out of the hoop. If it's too loose, then the garment may fall off during embroidery. So it's important that you properly tension the hoop before you actually embroider the fabric. And an easy way to do that is just to hoop the garment and then reach in between and tighten or loosen the ring until you've got the proper amount of tension on that ring. Another important element is your choice of stabilizer. Now, stabilizer is a fabric or a paper-like material that you put between the tension ring and the garment. So the garment will go, the tension ring and the stabilizer will go between the panels of the garment, and then the hoop is pressed in to hold it in place. And I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. There are several types of stabilizer. This stabilizer is a cutaway, meaning that a pair of scissors will be necessary to trim this out after the embroidery is done. You'll notice that it will not tear, certainly not easily. The other type of stabilizer is something called tearaway, which, as its name implies, is easily torn away from the fabric whenever the embroidery is complete. And while it is often tempting to want to use tearaway for everything that you embroider because of its ease of removal, it is not appropriate for many fabrics, particularly things that are very light, like a t-shirt, and mobile. The more mobile the fabric is, and the lighter or thinner it is, the heavier the stabilizer needs to be. So for this project, because I am embroidering on a t-shirt, I have chosen to use two pieces of a medium weight cutaway. I'm going to begin hooping by placing my tension ring between the two panels of the t-shirt and placing it in the general place where I want the final embroidery to be placed. Then I'm going to take my two pieces of stabilizer and I'm going to put them between the two panels as well and on top of the tension ring. Now, there are many hooping aids available to make this process a little simpler. For the purposes of this demonstration, just using a basic setup of a good solid surface to hoop on and a hoop that you would normally use. Now, once I've basically placed my stabilizer and my tension ring in between the two panels with the stabilizer on top of the tension ring, now I'm ready to put the other piece of the hoop in, which will then put these two pieces together. Now, it's important that when you place this in, that you do not place it in upside down or crooked. What I mean by upside down is that these positioning pins here and here need to be at the bottom or the lower part down here. If you put them in this way, with them at the top of your garment, then it will not fit on the machine correctly. These points need to be at the bottom. Then I also want to align my shirt so that my embroidery will be straight. So first I want to ensure that my garment is straight across the shoulders. And then as I get ready to place this in, I want my hoop to be straight across here so that this is parallel with the top of my shirt. As I place it in, I'm going to push the hoop down a little bit, the top part of the hoop into the top part of the tension ring, and then I'm going to put just a little bit of tension on the fabric here so that as I press this down into the garment, my fabric will be nice and smooth and tight across the surface. I'll make sure I'm pressed in all the way, and then I should now have a parallel surface between the tops of my shoulders and the top of that hoop. And as I look at the material in the hoop, when I run my finger across there, I shouldn't get any pushing of the fabric. But I should also not pull the fabric so tight as to stretch it so that the grain of the fabric is not straight as well. At this time, this is a well hooped shirt and it's ready to go on the machine.